We've been well out here for American Lives Matter. Yeah, I got thinking about something that's kind of a medium between police officers and people who are pulled over. Look, here's the thing, people. They're just human beings, just like you and me. So, and they're not getting rich by your downfall. Whoever got that idea, you forget that one. Because whoever told you that bullshitted you. Okay, they have a hard job, a really hard job. One job that even I've considered, but just one fact of when people pass away, that it's a long story, but I've had 15 family members pass away, and I just could not do that job for a living. I just cannot. That's my feeling. Everyone has a different feeling about when people pass away, so just respect the family members, etc., etc. Never come across rude about someone who's passed away. Even if they were a bad person, don't tell people about it. That's not the time. Same thing. Even if somebody's been a troublemaker in your own family, don't go after them when their parents pass away. Even if they've been that person, and whatever you do, you need to give them a hug or just be nice to them when that happens. Because when it gets down to it, we are one human race, and we are one on that note. We all have to band together when it comes to people passing away. All of us. There is no factions. There is living and then there's dead. There is good and then there's evil. But living is actually a higher power. However, though, death is immortal. So, like your soul, even if you are an atheist, you have to admit there's electrical fields within you that is greater than your own body. So, and I'm not trying to tell anybody how to have a religious faith, because when it gets down to it, my understanding of God is kind of unique. And I realize that everybody will have a different understanding, even if they are the same religion as others. That's a long, long story. But you have to realize too, though, police officers, they have a very hard job. A very hard job. And if you just be nice to them, most of the time things will go well. And I'm sure that they know people that have been police officers that weren't such good people, and of course, I know that they're like, we're nothing like that. Why, how the fuck did they get away with it, or data test what happened, there was certain cases, and they're like, that's not us, but then we're trained to work together, and it's like, somebody like that, it's just bringing heat down on a system that's, we don't have any room for it. And there's some people that cover for the wrong just because of the uniform. And I know that most that would, when they decide that they're going to be a police officer, at least from what I gather, I mean, I'm not a police officer, but I consider people. And what I'm saying, okay, let's just go back to when you get pulled over. Because, I mean, this New Year's, you'll probably get pulled over for some reason. Not because they're fitting a quote-unquote quota. No. It's because they want to start the new year right, in a way, and safety, even talking to people, is part of what they do. They're supposed to talk to the public. They're supposed to know the well-being of the public. That's all. Let's say, for instance, you bought a brand new car, and you had it shipped from another state, and they gave you a temporary tag to put on that vehicle. Well, if you turn at a light and they happen to, and you had the tag like in the window because you had to because of something, maybe it had to do with the screws or it was a paper tag or something. It was legal, but you didn't want to get it damaged. You definitely didn't want to lose it because if you lost it, you couldn't even get another one at the time before you got your title and stuff transferred. And we're looking at could be $830 for a new tag and title. They understand things like that. But you gotta let them talk. You gotta let them see. And just because they pulled you over, they're not holding you down saying you done something wrong. They're just checking. Because it is more logical to check for a car that might be stolen because that could look stolen to anybody. Even if it's got a temporary tag on it, somebody might have just drove it home from a car lot and never gave it back. And that might have been one that somebody's been looking for. You know, they don't have to go with a hot tip. They're supposed to look on suspicion, you know. And that is something people really need to consider. Also, they may have even went on instinct. Nothing else there. Whenever you do get pulled over, if you can do this, go ahead and pull your license out and go ahead and pull out anything that has to do with your registration. Go ahead and put it on the dash in front of the steering wheel and keep your hands visible to them where you can see, where they can see. Just out of courtesy, you know their job. Just out of common courtesy that you know their job ahead of time, and you don't want to give them any reason to think that you're kind of fidgeting around with something inside your car. Just keep your hands visible over the steering wheel. And when you talk to them, you know, they're just people. You know, even if you've seen bad things in the past, you got to understand, though, we have to evolve. We all have to evolve. We have to look for a better day, a good day coming. We can't just live in irony. I will be writing books a little bit later on in life over ironic things that have happened, but not just telling a story, but what they inspired. Some of the things that were so ironic will inspire you in ways too, because you survived through it. But it's not just about this tough luck factor and all this, you know. Everybody has somebody in their family they're not proud of. Everybody has somebody in their family they're kind of not quite jealous of, or like how they get away with this and how they get away with that. And they're like, and then we all have somebody in our family. It's just like somebody's pet, the family pet that gets away with whatever or can do no wrong. We know somebody like that, and everybody's family has somebody like that. There's some people who are very wealthy and things are just going their way. There's some people that could not be a better person, but everything just kind of fell on them. It happens to a lot of people. A lot of police officers might have been those people that were like, this shit is just not by irony. I got to do something, and the only way I can do it is if I'm standing there with the badge on. Hell, I get that. You know, or heck, I get that. You know, I really don't want to, I don't want to throw the word hell out there, but, you know, but heck, I get that. You know, and the same thing, as long as they check your license and registration, I know you've already paid a bundle. They know you've already paid a bundle. And it's better for them to actually just see that and check than it is for someone to get away with a stolen car. Because then look at, what if that car was yours that you've paid all this money for and they never checked? And someone else stole it, you know? So you would rather them actually check than not check. And it's a good thing they do check. But also, same thing, even if you're not like drinking and driving, and let's say that you swerve, you might swerve because, I don't want to down on road crew today, but let's say there was a pothole in the road or asphalt's messed up or something. police don't like a bad road either. We've all had to put cars together because of a bad road, and it seemed like it was bull at the time too. They get that too, but they're not like your opposition when they pull you over. They're just checking. So let them have their time. They're worth their time. Even some may come across to you as like they're upset, but you just got to keep your composure. You got to understand that your demeanor does help certain things. And sometimes being positive spreads like wildfire in a good way. If you just started a new job, you're the only person that smiles at your job. Well, you may have to force a smile on your face for 2 weeks. Somebody may be conspiring in the corner and say, hey, is that person retarded? But you'll realize months later, for one thing, to help your facial features. Charisma. But another thing is sometimes that little bit of a smile, once it's forced, then you get reasons. That's one thing that kind of can be manipulated, but don't smile when you're lying. In fact, why don't you just skip the lying? There's so many things in this world that's unbelievable anyway. If you gotta have a crazy fucking story, I got plenty of them for you that didn't have to ad-lib, didn't have to lie about it, and it's still shit that's unbelievable, and that's why I'll be putting it in a book. Some things are extreme that you've seen, and you're like, how in the fucking world did I get to this point? And it's like I had no choices to make. But you gotta understand, you can make it through it. Whatever it is, you can make it through it. Don't look at living every day as your last. Always look for a good tomorrow. It'll help you get through the times. Even in the worst times, it'll help you survive. As far as you can be anything you want to be, that might be a irony. Because sometimes people are chosen at birth, and some people can work no harder and get nothing. But you still gotta believe in a good outcome. No matter what. Always believe in a good outcome. Also, if you consider others, there's going to be evil people coming to your life, and they want to make you just like them. They want to torment you, so you'll torment others. Don't be weak. Your soul is stronger if you keep it. Don't let that manipulative evil take you. Don't let good things pass you by because things that taught you to distrust. Yes, keep your awareness about you. Don't take unnecessary risk. Today might be New Year's, but that doesn't mean go out and do something crazy, stupid, and be regretting it. That actually means enjoy yourself, have a good time, and remember what you do could carry the rest of the year. But you always gotta have a positive outlook. You gotta have a positive mental attitude. That's what counts. And you may find people that kind of conspire about you because they lack the willpower to be you. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. Don't let them take you down. There's going to be things that you'll have to do to defend yourself if you're a soul, if you're a lone soldier. Or a lone soldier. Yeah, even if you're, I hate to use the word lone wolf because I don't like the lone wolf myself. Just because of certain things I know. But, even if you're a person that is alone, Not because that was your choice, just because that's the cards you were dealt and you had to play your hand. And it's like, not what I wanted, but what I ended up with, and had to do with it, That is life. My religion, or my outlook on life, because that's where I center my religion, is, yes, I believe in karma, but I don't believe in karma as I don't believe in karma and revenge. Also, wanting bad things to happen to people is not just the way to live life. There's no way to do that. You gotta look for a good thing in everybody. If you look, there's gonna be people out there that's like, I don't see any good, but then you just kind of distance yourself to them as soon as you can. Sometimes it might be family members that are like, there's no chance around them. But even if they inflict hopelessness, you still gotta believe in yourself. You gotta see a better day. Put it in your mind, and it'll happen. You gotta believe that. There's gonna be times you're gonna fall short of your goals. But keep making your goals. That's what matters. Keep making your goals. When you find something blocking your goal, you got 5 paths to follow. Well, at least this is what I tell myself, because you have 5 paths to follow for any goal. You gotta really kind of leave a door open in a couple ways to get to your goal. But if all 5 of those paths get blocked on the way to your goal, you really may need to consider something about that I do not know. Even if I've covered everything, there's still something about that I do not know, that either I must learn, or it's time to have another priority that's higher. And there's going to be things that seem really impossible you really have to deal with, and that's going to be probably a person passing away in your family. God bless you. I feel your pain. But never give up on yourself. Never give in to evil. Stand up, champion. You make it through. And for the people that take it lightly, I hope that you never have to know God the way I do. Because I don't want you to feel pain. But I hope for you and your sake that if you do take it lightly, that I hope God still has compassion, because I know He does. And you'll find your way to where you can enjoy your life, to where others don't hurt because of you. To where you can find your life to when you do things that should have made people smile, but didn't. I hope you find your time of salvation. I hope you find your time of sovereignty. I hope you make it. Never look around and say, I can't wait for a day to die. It's not a way to live. Be grateful for every breath you take. As far as people saying fear God, I can't. I don't fear God. I know my God is not real God. But that is my understanding of God. And I realize some will see God different. Some will say they don't believe in God. They may say it to you. But if you're one of those people He says, well, I do believe in God. Maybe ask them and say, well, at least you're not a Satan worshiper, right? Take that into consideration too. Because somebody who doesn't believe in God, even though I'm sure God believes in them for them to be here, I know that. But I can't tell them how to think. Because that's not something my God would want me to do. But if you said to them, well, you don't believe in arson, you don't believe in murder, and they agree with you on that, hey, that's a positive. If they do say they do, then maybe they're a Satan worshiper. Get the fuck away from that person, because that person, nothing but bad. But you gotta give people a chance. You gotta find your point to guard. You gotta guard yourself too. But you gotta find your medium. You gotta find your Happy New Year. Even if you know this year won't be your Happy New Year, you gotta look into that future and say, well, this year's gonna fucking suck. 5 years from now, though, my goals will be made. You gotta look for that. You really do need to consider where you'll be in a year. But then you also need to consider where you'll be in 5 years. You might want to consider what happens in 100 years. Some things recycle. Even 1,000 years. Some things recycle. In fact, if you look at the moons, on some of the days of some of the major events in the world, you'll notice the moons don't lie. Maybe the point of me being like from Irish descent might influence that. But that's what I found. Follow the moon. But also keep yourself in cycles. Because where I understand the moon, here's why I understand the moon. If it's descending the moon, it's time to clean up. It's time to deal with things. It's time for you to take out the trash. It really is time for you to take out the trash. And, I mean, it's good to keep a clean household. That's a given. But that's time when you deal with the grungiest shit that you do not want to have to deal with, but you're like, I need to. You plan for that day of that waning moon. And you get it, and you do your deep clean. But then you also look at your goals and try to achieve them during that growing moon. You'll notice that momentum will start to favor your world. It's not about the others on that level. It's about you. It is about you. It's about you making your goals. Don't cut corners to make a goal. Sometimes you might have to cut costs. Never take a good product for one thing and ruin it on purpose. That's the stupidest fucking idea I've ever seen. And it really got serious right after damn 2000. You gotta go back to making quality, people. Even if you say, well, if we can't get anything quality from China, well, make America great again. Doesn't say, let's actually let China do it. And why the fuck would they do it if they're the one property in it and they're the only one that's property? You gotta use your elements. You gotta build your artifacts. That's key. You gotta look at yourself too and realize that some people are good at certain things, some people are good at other things. Some people don't understand others straight from face value. The crowd might be shallow. Don't be that crowd. Look for a good outcome and keep it. You can't force a good outcome, but you can force a smile, and I guess I would. Be genuine, though. Okay, so they pull you over. Let's go back to the point where the cops pull you over. That's where you're going to say it. The cops pull you over. I don't say the police pull you over because that's what they are. They're the police. If they pulled you over, that's what you do. You get your license out. You get your registration out. That's probably going to, I mean, you might have a bill of sales. You might have a title. You might have your actual registration that comes with your tag. And your proof of insurance. Okay, and I know some insurance companies do not give out cards regularly. But one receipt can pretty much do it. And I know a point where someone did get pulled over and they actually thought they had a receipt that showed where their other car was headed, and they handed it to the police officer and then realized hours later that he looked at the paper, it didn't have the car on it. And it's like, oh shit, I didn't mean to hand them the wrong one. But you know what, though? The police officer never said anything. And I'm sure they knew. Don't assume that they're just going to give you a favor, but just be nice to them. Be nice to them. We're just people just like you and me. Just be nice to them. God bless you all. God bless America. The people make America great again. We, the people, make America great again. You and I. Every person you see on the street is you and I. Make America great again. Believe in a good thing. Find your own goals and make your own goals. If you fall short, find another goal. Don't just have one goal either. Have a multiple. Got small goals and large goals. Long-term goals. Make them. There's going to be some that get chalked line out. Or chalk line. You get chalked out. You know, I'm thinking a blackboard that has like chalk on it, and I'm seeing X's and lines and this and that. That's what I'm seeing. That's a chalk line. I don't mean like chalk line, but you know. And then there's a chalk line as far as like straight and narrow when it comes to like building a roof, you know. Whatever, you know, that's just whatever. But just do the best you can. Do the best you can. Take time for you. You gotta take time for you. You gotta enjoy your life too. Make sure you get enough rest. A lot of people out there, that's their main problem, is they try to do it all and never actually get enough rest. Even if their life is going good, they're starving themselves for rest. You gotta get your rest. Even if you don't have a comfortable bed, the best thing you can do, even if your bed is not comfortable, but if you find a couch that's very comfortable, get that couch, even if it's, as long as it's not nasty, you know, as long as it's not nasty, period. Don't want to be on a couch that's nasty. No. But if it's comfortable, no matter what it looks like, it can be covered. But you need a good night's rest for anything good to happen. So, get it. There's going to be times where you might actually be sleep deprived. I know there's been times where I've been sleep deprived. It's not good for any of us, so get your rest. Also, coffee will only do so much. If you haven't drinking coffee in a while, that could really get you in a step. However, though, if you've been drinking it a lot, at least every day, it's not going to help you as much, and it could actually hurt your throat, and also can sting your teeth. You know, tea, cigarettes, coffee, they all sting your teeth. But, what can I say? You know, everybody's got their, chewing bubble gum. Maybe even putting bubble gum with just a little bit of baking soda, touches of baking soda before you put it in your mouth. You don't have to buy all that expensive gum. Say, eat chewing gum. Yeah, I wish I knew this when I was a lot younger, but I really didn't consider it because I was listening to too many other people. There's a little bit of baking soda on it. Same thing about baking soda. When you're driving, if you have a box of baking soda in your car, you probably got the best fire extinguisher out there. Because you don't have to worry about this thing being broken when you need to use it. You need to take a pinch of baking soda into any fire that you need to put out. Just pinch it into there. You don't want it down in your carburetor, though. If you got an older car that has a carburetor and it catches on fire, that's one point where you don't want it. And all I'm going to say is if you got a car that's popping or it's catching the carburetor on fire, it's got to be smothered out fast. But you need to find out what is going on with it and not just keep assuming that it might be something stuck in the engine. It might be something bad with the carburetor. But if nothing else, get rid of that car. Quit driving it. Something's wrong with its safety. There's something about that car that is no good. It might even be another thing that is no good. It's about like when your goals, you have 5 ways to a goal. And you start along that goal. But then you realize these obstacles come right into those 5 paths, like 5 roadblocks. And you're like, this shouldn't even be here. And you feel like you just got up in another world kind of thing, you know. Something there says, work on another goal. There also may be a key that was easier than all 5-year paths that will still get you to the same destined, completed goal. So that's something else that you might want to consider. Sometimes when things are too hard, there really was an easy button behind them that you just didn't see. Even things that people can't tell you about, because when you go asking people, and they're like, well, I have no idea about that. But either way, be Manuel here for American Lives Matter. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you. Love you, viewers.